Hey everyone, how's it going? So today's video, as you can tell from the title, is all about how to manage your money while you're in school, whether it be high school, middle school, university, college, anything like that. And I'm also going to talk about credit cards for students because that is a question that also comes up a lot. So a lot of these questions have come from Twitter and from the YouTube comments as well as through my website. So I just thought that I would take the time today to address those questions and maybe give you some advice on how to save money and as well how to manage your finances and kind of start to build credit and things like that. So I guess we will just go ahead and get started. So when it comes down to it, we all know that you don't have a lot of disposable income when you are in school, whether it be high school or college or university or anything like that. So hopefully today I'm just going to give you a few little tips to help you save some more. So my first tip to save money is to eliminate your bank fees that you would have associated with any accounts that you have. So there's a lot, I know my bank does it and a bunch of others, so there's probably the same type of thing at the bank that you are at. So there's all these different types of accounts that you can get. You're pretty much safe though if you go for a student account. Usually those accounts have free transactions, unlimited transactions, so every time you use your debit card, you're not going to be charged like $1 to use that, or however much it would be, and things like that. So usually student accounts have free transactions, unlimited number of transactions. They waive a bunch of other fees like service fees. So really, it's kind of the best thing that you can do, and you can save a lot of money each month just by eliminating all those bank fees. So my next tip is for those that are working when they're in school. So if you are working, what I would suggest is take a percentage of your income that you have and put that away into savings. So whether it's in an actual savings account in the bank, or if you have cash and you just keep a little jar and you put all, that percentage of your income in that little jar. So my next tip is to just track all of your spending. So when you go out to eat with your friends and you spend so much money, when you come back, keep a little notebook of all your expenses and all your little incidentals and things like that. So whenever you spend money, whenever you spend cash, whenever you charge anything, write it down in this book, track your spending, see where you're spending the most amount of money, and then at the end of the month kind of review that and look and see where most of your money is going. So if most of your money is going to pay down your student loan or something like that, or pay down a credit card, then obviously that's really important and you should be spending the most money paying down your debts. But if the most of the money that you spend is going towards food and entertainment and things like that, you probably can find ways to cut back on that a little bit, and that will obviously save you money in the long run. There's a lot of things that you can do just hanging out with your friends, and there's a lot of different activities you can do without spending all that money. So definitely keeping track of your expenses and all your incidentals and everything that you spend can really help you in the long run. So in relation to tracking your spending and all that, I am working on my own little kind of budget tracker, expense tracker, and things like that, like a little spreadsheet to put up on my website for you all to download and print off and just fill in and things like that, so you can help track your finances a little bit better. So I just wanted this to be a little introduction to helping to manage your finances. I get a lot of questions about it, so I'm probably going to do a few videos related to managing your money and things like that, so I don't want to go too into detail in this video. So those are all the tips that I'm going to give you for now for saving money and things like that while you're in school. So now I'm just going to go ahead and talk about credit cards for students and see how that goes. So for credit cards, any type of credit can either help you in the long run or it can really hinder you and be a bad thing and kind of not mess up your life, but it can have a really big impact on it. So you have to be really smart with the way you use any type of credit. So for those of you who don't know what credit is, basically it is where, excuse me, you borrow the money for something and you have so long to pay it back, and after that time, if you don't pay it back, you start to get charged interest. So that's money, kind of like a percentage of what you've spent, that gets added onto that each month or year, depending on the type of credit system that you have. And eventually, if you don't pay that back, you have what's called a credit score, and your credit score affects everything, basically. So if if you're a really smart person and manage your finances well, and you have good credit, you always pay your bills on time, you never miss a payment, you always, pay them off in full if you can, those people will have a really good credit score. The people that don't pay their bill every month, the people that just make the minimum payment, the people that just pay the interest on their credit cards or any type of credit, they will have a bad credit score, and that credit score affects things like when you go to apply for a mortgage to buy a house. You can not get approved for that because you have bad credit. So not only if you want to get approved to get a mortgage for a house, if you want to buy a car, and you need a car loan or something like that, if you have bad credit, you won't be able to get that. A lot of jobs now require a credit check to be able to get employed by that company, and if you have a bad credit score, they're obviously not going to take you for various reasons that they may have. So like I said, if you don't watch your credit and manage it correctly, it can really have an impact on your life down the road. So I'm just going to talk to you a few minutes about students and students with credit cards. So when I turned 18, I applied for my first credit card, and it was a student credit card. So basically with student credit cards, they are credit cards that don't really are not dependent on your income. So a lot of credit cards nowadays, you have to have a certain minimum household income in order to even apply for that credit card. So with student credit cards, you don't have to have, there's no requirement that you have any income at all. What else? I think there's no fees or anything. There's no annual fee on student credit cards, or most of them that there are. And they, most of the time, have a very small credit limit so that you don't rack up a bunch of money and you aren't able to pay it back. So my first credit card that I got was a student credit card through my bank, and it had no annual fee, it had no minimum income requirement, and it had a credit limit of $500. So I could spend up to $500, pay that off, and then spend $500 more, or I could spend $500 and then I could put $300 towards that $500 limit, and then I would have now $200 of more room to spend more money with. So that's kind of the way it works. But basically, just to make this quick, my suggestion is, if you're going to get a credit card, get a student credit card and always pay your balance off in full. So that will allow you to have a better credit score and not get you into financial trouble down the road. So that's what I did when I got my first credit card. Anything that I spent on that card, I paid off. And another good rule of thumb when using credit cards is, if you don't have the money to pay it off, don't charge it to your credit card. So that's another big tip. I know some people, some of my friends even didn't have jobs, and they would go out and they would spend hundreds of dollars on their student credit cards and just rack them up and never pay them off. So obviously that's going to hurt them in the long run. So eventually, after you have your student credit card for so long, maybe you feel like you're more financially responsible, you now have a part-time job, you're making some money, and you want to be able to spend more, but still be able to pay it off. So you might want to look into just a regular credit card. And so once you have that student credit card, once you open that kind of credit file, you now have this credit file, and when you go to apply for loans or other credit cards or mortgages or things like that. Basically, these companies can check that file to see if you're in good standing. So what you can do is, after a while, if you've had good standing, you can go ahead and apply for another credit card that isn't a student one, that has maybe a higher limit if you want to spend more. So I obviously don't suggest you get a bunch of credit cards and spend and charge them all and rack them up, I guess, and not pay them off, because that's not what I'm trying to say here. I'm trying to say, once you've kind of passed your student credit card and you think you're more responsible than that, just kind of set that one aside, maybe throw it in a drawer. Don't cancel it, because that also affects your credit score if you cancel cards. So just put it in a drawer somewhere safe, and maybe don't use that one, and apply for another one that has a higher limit or maybe different rewards. So just a quick example, like with me, so I had my first credit card when I was 18, the student credit card, and after a while I applied for a American Express Air Miles credit card, and that's basically like a frequent flyer miles type of system. So anytime I spend money, I got these miles to put toward flights or rewards or things like that. So that's basically what I'm saying. So after you work from a student, maybe go to a little rewards card that you're going to get something for. And then eventually, because I paid my bills off every month and I was good with my credit and things like that, I was able to get the American Express Gold charge card. And what that is, I guess the difference between a credit card and a charge card is, a credit card, you have a set limit to spend, and once you reach that limit, you can't spend any more until you pay it off. So a charge card is a card that has no spending limit, and but the balance has to be paid off in full every month. So with my Amex, I am able to charge anything I want to it. I can spend as much as I want. I don't have a set limit, but I have to make sure that I'm able to pay it off in full every month. And because I was paying off my other credit cards in full every month, I thought, why not get a charge card? Because my kind of rule is, if I don't have the money, I'm not going to buy it anyways. So I'm always able to pay my bills off in full every month. So I wanted to get kind of a better credit card that offers me better rewards. So that is pretty much what I just wanted to say. If you are deciding to get a credit card, just be careful with it, be smart, pay your bills off, don't charge anything if you can't afford it. And yeah, I think that's it. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. This is my first video on kind of money management and things like that for students. So like I said, leave questions and anything, any concerns or anything that I said in this video. Let me know. Check out all my social media. The links will be in the description below. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.